That's underway. Welcome everyone in Zoom land. Welcome back, folks, here with me. We've got a great crowd. So I should just again mention, and for anyone who wasn't already aware who's joining us from Zoom, unfortunately, Yvonne is sick, so she cannot be here. And Yvonne, I'm wishing you a really speedy recovery and all the best. And also thank you for not bringing your illness here to this gathering. We appreciate that. And hopefully I can get Yvonne back in somewhere in the new year. But for now, we have our poetic opener. Laurence Hutchman has graciously agreed to read for a bit longer. And I'm going to read a little bio of Laurence. He's here with a bunch of books. I've got two of them up here with me to show off. His latest collection, Swimming Towards the Sun, collected poems 1968 to 2020. And he's also edited 2 volumes of In the Writer's Words. They're all going for $20, which is a deal. They're usually a little more. So you can check those out after the show. Laurence Hutchman was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and grew up in Toronto. He received a PhD from the Université de Montreal and has taught at several universities. For 23 years, he was a professor of English literature at the Université de Moncton at the Edmundston Campus. Hutchman has published 12 books of poetry, co-edited the anthology Coastlines, the Poetry of Atlantic Canada, and edited 2 volumes of In the Writer's Words. His poetry has received many grants and awards, including the Alden Nowlan Award for Excellence, and has been translated into numerous languages. In 2017, he was named Poet Laureate of Emery, North Toronto. He lives with his wife, the artist and poet Eva Kolacz, in Victoria, BC. Welcome, Laurence. Drink up there if you want, and just make sure you're in the shot. There, yes.
He is sneaking towards the top of the screen, though.
It's great to be here in Victoria. I've been here for, Alec and I have been here for about 1 year. So I've lived in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Alberta. So I guess I was destined to live in BC. I'd like to thank Zoe and the Planet Earth series. I feel honored to read in it. And Russell Books. I believe Russell started out in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
First poem I would like to read is The Chinese Man. I read this in China, and I had a translation of it. So I had the translation read first to kind of make a bridge between myself and the Chinese audience. Chinese man. In the afternoon, the old Chinese man kneels in a garden. The sunlight flickers, a golden tapestry on the red wall. Jazz from an old film echoes. A broken leaf falls. He feels for a single nail, sets it on the wood, hammers, straight as thought. Resolute he is, the golden tapestry on the red wall. Sometimes we get inspired from different sources. And when I was living in Montreal, I went to the art gallery there. And for the first time, I saw the work of abstract expressionists, Rauschenberg and Jasper Johns and the other famous artists at the time. And for some reason, I wrote this poem. Music in the snow. Now is the moment when things fit. The bank book drops into a secret pocket, money again, and the boundary comes clear under the halo of the light bulb. This is the moment, the resumption of music, when the moon parts her curtain and logic is a fence following the slope of hills. Now is the moment, the striking of baton, twirling of gold coins on counters, meeting of lips. Here one will dance on snow, not act on the tragic stage. This is the moment the picture lifts out of the canvas, swirls back deeply into the cosmos of the creator's heart, a strong rush by semi-lunar valves. Love you, moon of my heart, my heart. So if you're of a certain age, that's well beyond video games, you remember the pinball machine. You know, when you went to the cottage, hung out by the lake, and there was always some little gallery or shack where they had some pinball machines. I love the tactility of the pinball machines. You almost become one with the machine. Pinballs, under fingertips, machine music moves to your inner rhythm. The ball springs into an arc, slides down Fortune's alley, spins through the gates of paradise, past pyramids, tempting sirens, pillars of Hercules, the Liberty Bell into a space odyssey. Dexterity is your art. You are musician, soldier, lover in this world of light, action. You press, flick, gyrate, and the silver ball contracts the colored points. Among gray-haired businessmen, expert boys, and savvy girls, you combat the machine, follow the movement of your fortune as the machine lights up your dream, immersing you in a colored synesthesia. Game over. Funny, I had the same experience at the casino the other night. Midnight, the prose poem. I love the prose poem form because you can do all kinds of fun that you can't do within in a poem. You make those unexpected leaps. You're not worried about the line breaks. And it just seems to have all kinds of different potentialities. Midnight, my favorite hour. How comfortable to sit here listening to the refrigerator humming, the syncopation of the clock, the midnight bus breaking, the warming up of an orchestra. After a long day's journey, I reach the shore and look out on sleep's dark breakers. Today we painted a wall. Not much, mind you, but those old green flowers are finally gone. We can hang pictures there. But to get back to midnight, not the beach, but the wide red table that spreads before me like a mesa. In the landscape are walnuts, green grapes, Spider-Man, and the wooden Russian dolls. My thought stops. I step outside myself. I am the stranger walking by the sea. Midnight, my favorite hour when the refrigerator is an Arctic piano. After the hockey game last night, I drove out into the unrecognizable Mo City. On the mountain's edge, the boy and the girl drank, danced, and sang into the wind. On the edge, be near the power. Not the guardian, I thought, be the stranger, the reader. Come, the scherzo's over. Already the drum of the clock is fading and the piano plays softly like a cardiogram. Listen, the late night bus revelers, the voices of sleep. The clock steps draw you closer to the waves. Fatigue like a friend takes you into the weird night childhood. Now, after traveling all day, relearn the world. Stranger, the sea is here. Forget and welcome. La Dentelière courses by Vermeer. La Dentelière, bent over your lace, everything in your body draws me toward your hands. I can feel the tension as you pull the two strands of thread. The way you bend is your inclination to thread the form of fabric. Your cheeks and hidden smile, if the smile at all, are directed to the point in the sewing of the blue cloth. So I observe you concentrating on the point of that pattern you make. I feel the motions of your hands, forearms, shoulders, threading your life, forgetting about children, family, history, weaving them through your hands. How Vermeer has poised your eloquent fingers, your needle suspended in perfect tension. I look at you in that gold and white dress. The blue fabric is so tactile I could run my finger over it. Lace maker, you spin fabric out of yourself. Draw me into the flowers of the sun as you float there, alive to the graceful interaction of work and life. The funny thing about those bookmarkers, they never are where you really want them to be. They keep skipping, you know. Pencil. Sometimes when you're writing something and you look at something, you see it for the first time. Just something that happens, it kind of clicks, and suddenly you say, it's a word. It's a word, maybe an unusual word, or in this case, it's a spoon. And you just look at it and you see, what is a spoon? What is it for? What does it resemble? What could it possibly be? So you have these kind of magic moments where you discover things. It's like falling in love. This time you fall in love with a utensil. Pencil rhymes with utensil. You are yellow, the color of the evening sun. Rare as a harvest moon, you are composed of graphite. From the Greek graphene, to write. You are mined from the earth. I'm writing with your carbon. I love the sound of writing, the way the words sound, the way they appear. I feel the force of my fingers, the movement like a rudder through water. Sometimes you go almost silent as a sigh, or just move smoothly like fingers across the lover's shoulder. I love the action of writing, the way I can conjure up words out of the world. When I look through the frame of the room at the road, lighted by the archipelago of light bulbs drawn like a bracelet over the dark, snowy hillsides, it invites me into the journey of the night and the evening itself and mise en scène. Pencil, yours is a kingdom of rocks and earth. Write me on this page. Write me away slowly when the movement of the earth makes the energy of the carbon leaving itself on the page. It's a moment of kinesthesia, electricity exploding at a molecular level, the transfer of energy in its private metaphors, moving me toward the horizon of the earth beyond your end. Poetry reading dream. And then there are the dreams or the nightmares, whatever they are. Sometimes they're the source. 4 of my book titles came from dreams. So I have great love of dreams, respect for them. Poetry reading dream. Have you ever been in a dream and tried to read the poem you wrote, or at least imagined you wrote, but you couldn't because it isn't there? I'm going through the pages, but the book is nearly blank. There's not one single fully recognizable poem. This is a nightmare. I'm going through the books and now I'm starting to lose it. Every time I find a book, there's something wrong with it. And the audience is getting larger. People hanging all over the place. I scavenge through the archival pile, looking for the poetry in all this mess. Suddenly, something wonderful happens, and the small, dingy, fake Parisian studio space becomes a large Montreal bibliothèque. Half the walls disappear. I'm in a country world with parks and rivers and mountains, and I feel as high as a mountain, and I begin with a poem. I was walking in the city, and there was music everywhere, and everything was light, light. There was a rhythm in every motion, every thought, every glance, and I was enjoying it. grooving with it, my body swinging and moving. You have to look for the mountains in the city. You didn't know they have mountains in Montreal. Look at them, ladies and gentlemen. Look beyond your library eyes to the glowing peaks. Feel the mountains in your blood, in your hands, in your feet. Let them sing in your veins. Let them tell you how to speak. Let them swing, shake, and break you. Let the mountains speak within you from every corner of your life, from every lighted space of your being. Let them sing out of every neglected moment, out of every impossible dream. Let the mountains sing with you. Let them awaken you to their eyes. And the audience is swaying. They are with me. I see the city mountains in their eyes. I can feel the excitement in their veins. I can sense the hunger of the ordinary. I can touch their elemental game. Why can't every reading be like this?
We have time for one more.
Thank you, Zoe. I have a confession to make. Tonight, this audience seems to fit this poem. Well, you're all kind of spread out, so it's the one time the audience and the poem seem to fit really well. Okay, one last poem. Pardon?
Just move the mic back a little. There we go.
That's good. Algonquin logger shoot. After Simcoe's last Yonge Street portage, this is vertigo, and the wandering rocks, the shifting shoulder blade, the throbbing yoke, we emerge with canoe before dark green lagoon of strewn graveyard trees, twisted in all shapes and sizes to step out into Hieronymus Bosch's beach party and joke about this place as the antipode to Club Med, masochist synonymous in Procruste's Holiday Inn. We'll take good care of you, stretch you until you're in fine shape. Everywhere bones, tender clavicle, slender humors, jagged ribs, warped tibia, fractured femur, the pelvis's girdle, shimmers in the last quiver of pleasure, and the sockets in York's funhouse. Survey it all, taking it all in, taking it all down, to get clear of the ghostly carnival of the animals, with no Virgil to be your guide. In this broken down honky-tonk town, you have to act out of this labyrinthian fantasy where the Minotaur is not the beast, but your mind. Thank you.